Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. Today, I would like to talk to you about discipline and how willpower can actually get you to happiness. So, we live in a world of distraction where our minds are constantly everywhere. And many people are talking about being present in the moment, but how do you actually get to that? How do you manage to be present in the moment? And for me, the way to that presence is discipline, but not discipline in the way that we often think about today, which is a discipline that comes from the outside rather than from within. For me, discipline is something much more akin to its original meaning, which is that of discipulus, a disciplina coming from Latin and meaning knowledge and instruction. It's really your ability to learn and to instruct yourself. And so when we talk about discipline and willpower, I think it's very important that we look at the reason why. So it's all good and well to have a goal, but if you don't know the why behind it and what for you are doing what you're doing, likeliness has it that you're never really going to reach because you're not convinced. When you really know the why and you can feel why you're doing it, you convince yourself. You make this happen. You will this to happen. And that then aligns everything else behind it. The how is irrelevant. It's all about the why. Life is very knowing, and life will give you what you need to get to where you want to get as long as you keep focus. And to keep focus, you really need to become your goal. How do you become your goal? Well, you live and breathe it in every moment of your day. Put yourself reminders on your phone, go to bed thinking about it. When you look in the mirror, when you open the car, set little moments for yourself throughout the day where you can think about it. And one of the things that many great minds practice is actually talking to themselves. Talk to yourself, become your coach. Become your cheerleader. And think about things that you've done in the past. So we all have been faced with challenging situations, and all of us have mastered these challenging situations. So what's achieving a goal? It's really just achieving a challenge. And so given that you've done it before, you can do it again. Find that key, find that moment in your mind where you felt you overcame something, where you felt you achieved something, and draw from it. Use that energy and that feeling to get to where you want to get now. Another thing that's really helpful are similes. So I like to think of a dog that holds onto a bone and won't let go of it, because I grew up with dogs. So for me, that's a really useful simile because I used to play with them. And one thing I learned is the dog won't let go. It's just not an option. Giving up just is not an option. And when that happens, then, all suffering that's part of life becomes not irrelevant, but you just accept it as such. And letting go just will not happen. So having said that, I think it's also important to mention that goals need to be realistic. Realistic does not mean you cannot make the impossible happen. Not what it means. But realistic in the sense that it needs to be in line with how you feel and think. So I give you an example. You put yourself on a diet. I've done diets. I've done many diets in my life. I've given up on all of them. Why? Because I came to the point where I said, actually, that piece of cake is more important to me than 2 kilos less. Am I obese? No. So am I overweight? No. So what's the point? I'd rather have a piece of cake or a glass of wine than to invest my energy, because ultimately discipline and focus is energy. I'd rather invest that somewhere else because it's just not that important to me. And so when you put a realistic goal for yourself, we come back to the why. Why is it important to you? Because you actually feel that way, or because you think you should and somebody else, or because your partner, or whatever it may be. So just be sure that when you choose a goal, it's realistic to you. And then once you fix that goal, stick to it. There will be temptation, there always is, and you can overcome it. There are some tricks, and you should use them all. You can try to avoid temptation. So when you want to stop smoking, you won't have cigarettes lying around. You might not even want a lighter or matches lying around, because it will remind you of this action, of this habit. So just remove that. You can't remove it, or you're surrounded by it. Distract your mind. Think of something else. It's no longer important to you that you return to your habit. You know that you are now in the driver's seat of your car. You're no longer sitting in the back. You're driving that car. You're grabbing the reins of your mind, and you will go to where you want to go, to where you've put the focus. So distract your mind and refocus on what really matters to you. Now, in all of that, it's very easy to get stressed. Why? Because, well, discipline is practice. So you probably won't succeed from day one. And what happens when you get stressed? Adrenaline and cortisol go way too high in your body. Your whole biochemistry changes, and you go into autopilot, into a fight or flight mechanism, where you no longer control. You are no longer in a driver's seat, but you are in autopilot. And then you return to your old habits. Ask any smoker. You stress, the first thing you do, you grab that cigarette. So don't stress. Easier said than done, right? But there is a key to it, and that's having fun, joy. What fun and joy do is they produce the antidotes to adrenaline and cortisol. So they actually produce dopamine and endorphins that will help your body to counteract stress. Now, once you're in the moment where you are stressed, it's very hard to return to de-stressed and to this joy. So just be sure that you create a baseline of joy in your life. There are many ways of doing it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it today and also in the following sessions. But it's really about creating a base. And then believe in yourself. Believe that you have the power to create. It's an act. You really create your life every day. So why wouldn't you be able to achieve anything that you put your mind to, anything that you realistically want, that you truly, truly, truly put your mind to? Why wouldn't you? You've done many things in your life. Every morning, you wake up, you open your eyes, and your world starts to exist. So why wouldn't you achieve just about any goal that you put your mind to? And then it's a question of aligning your head and your heart. So we've spoken about this already. Feeling. Your heart is feeling. So don't just want it with your head, want it with your heart. Think about what it will be like. Feel it, breathe it, smell it, taste it, touch it. Your brain doesn't distinguish much between what's real and what isn't real when it comes to feelings. The thought generates that feeling. So generate the feelings that you want to feel. Go there. Allow yourself to go there and enjoy it. And that will do two things. You visualize, you use the practice of visualization, and you already imagine what it will be like. And equally, when you are in your world of thought, you're really in a meditation. And that will allow you to just calm down, feel joy, produce endorphins and dopamine, and counteract stress. So really enjoy that world of thought, enjoy your own privacy, and sit with it. And even that is discipline, and it might be hard in the beginning, but it's really about training that mind, that monkey mind, that tends to jump up and down, back and forth. And it's easy to do that because there's constantly so much happening around us. So it's really important to be aware that there is actually a mind over matter principle. Science is now able to observe that our brain changes with the way we think. So we think more positively, we feel more positive emotions, the structure in our brain changes. And the same happens with discipline. The more you teach your brain discipline, the more you use this muscle, the more your mind changes. So there you have it. You really can change matter with your thoughts. But it's about time. You can't, to get to where you want to get, it's not going to be a matter of doing it tomorrow. It's like when a child starts to ride a bike. You won't expect that child to get on that bike and ride it from the very first moment. The most likely thing is that the child is going to get on, fall off, get on, fall off. And then once it masters to stay on, how do I brake? There's so many things to learn in life, and you get there with time. So don't stress about it. Be kind and loving to yourself. Live that child in you and connect with it, and allow yourself to enjoy the process through kindness. Discipline is not about punishment. Discipline is an act of love to yourself. It's really teaching yourself, instructing yourself to be who you want to be. And then celebrate. Cheer for yourself. Enjoy it when you manage to do something, because that has an added benefit. Your focus shifts. Instead of focusing on the fall, you suddenly focus on when you manage to stay on the bike. And then what happens? Your brain changes, the way you feel and think changes, and suddenly your focus is on doing things right. When we fall off the bike, that's not to be ignored. It's an important event, but your energy shouldn't go there. Take it, learn it, understand what not to do, and move on. Don't be your own obstacle. We're very good at beating ourselves up. We all are. And what happens? We get frustrated, we get demotivated, we self-doubt, when there's really no reason to. Although society is teaching us that, you shouldn't lose. Loss is at the beginning of all great processes, and in the middle of it, and at the end of it. It's part of it. You need to do things wrong to understand how to do things right, and live with the frustration of it. Yeah, of course it's frustrating. Live with it. What? No problem. Because you will get there. And be aware that, everything that I talk to you about, everything that you read, it's really just theory. Make sure that whatever you want, you feel it. You feel it even before you have it. Make it part of your life before you have it. Because knowledge is power. But feeling it is living, and is acting, and is making things happen. So knowledge is information, whereas feeling is action. And then don't get impatient. I know it's hard. I'm a very impatient person, and it's one of the things that I'm training a lot, is not to get impatient with myself, and understand that good enough is a good base to start from. Good enough is fine. There will be days where good enough doesn't feel good enough. That's okay. But you get there. You will get to where you want to get. You can achieve being great. Each and every one of us can do that. But through patience, through practice, through discipline. Be proud of who you are. There's nobody else like you. And you've gotten here because, well, you've learned. You've fallen off the bike and then you learned a little bit. And eventually you achieved things. And everything that you've done along the way has really led to where you are today. You're here now. That's enough. Start from there. If you don't, you end up self-doubting, you end up demotivating yourself, you end up in frustration and despair. There's no need for that. You're right where you need to be. And then once you accept that right where you are is okay, get to work. Don't be shy of the hard work, because it is. There's no quick fix. I know there are lots of self-help books and your one key solution. Yeah, this isn't a way a one key solution, but it's not a quick one. It's a hard work one. It's the hard work option. And you're up against quite a few things. Whatever you choose you want to be might not be approved by others. You might surprise yourself in the process. You will undoubtedly find obstacles, but don't give up. Work. And be aware, just be aware that it is work, and that you can actually be that person who you wanted to be when you were 5 years old, because that person lives with you. Be aware of that, enjoy that. And exercise emotional control. We live in the 21st century. This isn't anymore about tigers. This is no longer about fight or flight mechanisms. This is about controlling your mind, controlling your emotions. It was actually Gandhi who said, let me get this right, a disciplined mind leads to happiness and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering. So it's really about controlling your mind. If you want to be happy, and we all know this, we react without giving ourselves the space to breathe in an undisciplined way. Very often, the consequences aren't good ones. It doesn't mean you can't be spontaneous. It just means be aware of yourself. Be conscious of your behavior and choose actively who you want to be and how you want to act. It's all about learning, and it's about learning how to overcome anything, even your own way of thinking. It's about breaking habits. It's about not holding yourself up, and understand that discipline is nothing else but learning. And give yourself a break. You're not always going to succeed. Think about the kid who falls off the bike. It's okay. Just be as loving and as kind as you will be to any child. And you will soon find that you actually enjoy the process and that it's okay not to succeed. Because eventually you will. It's just a small step. It's not the end goal. And see it as an experiment. Nothing is forever. Just for now, try what it's like. Experiment with yourself. See what works for you. Allow yourself the space in which to experiment. A week, maybe even just a day. What will happen is, once you do things differently, you will very, very quickly find that things around you change. Because really it does depend on you. You have the power to create. Surround yourself with people who support you in your process, who become your advisory board, really good friends and family, mentors who look out for you. You have your best interest at heart and listen to them. They can actually give you amazing new perspectives. You're not in this journey alone. Discipline isn't about being alone. Disciplining your mind isn't about being alone. It's about learning. And just as with everything, when you learn, you have fellow students, you have teachers. Find them and make use of them. And be persistent. You slip, it's okay. Get up. keep on walking. You get there. Allow me in the end to give you some, just a little ideas for training your willpower, for training that muscle that will make you disciplined. Many of you will have heard of this, the practice of meditation. What meditation does is it really is disciplining your mind, because you will find that your mind wanders. And then what you train is to stay in the present moment. And I had a very interesting question actually the other day from one of the people I work with. And she asked me, so how does the whole idea of a goal being in the future and the being in the moment actually work together? And I said, well, it really is. Every step is being in the moment. And if you think already about the next step, the chances are that you're going to miss out on opportunities. Create from one step, do one step at a time. Be in a step, could be being in the moment. Just replace that. And then from there, create opportunity, not losing sight of your goal. Remember what I told you in the beginning. As long as you remember your goal, as long as you remember the why, you actually allow me to give you some. So allow me to just give you a few exercises to train your muscle of willpower and discipline. Meditation is a great one. I'm sure most of you will have heard about it. Maybe some of you practice it. And what it does is you actually teach yourself discipline. When you meditate, especially to start off with, your mind wanders. Then it's okay. It's okay for your mind to wander. Your mind is not used to stillness. So you're trying to create a new habit. It's a very, very, very loving and kind way to teach your mind discipline that reaps immense benefits. And what you do really is you create a meditation, you create possibility, because you remove yourself from this position of reactiveness and you become an observer of your life. And that enables you to create. Now, somebody's asked me actually, how does this idea of being in the moment combine with the idea of a goal that is in the future? And it's actually simple. It's a question of living every step of the process. And when you do that, you will see that if you just live this one step, and if you allow for everything to just develop naturally from the step you're in, whatever you thought would have been the next phase, the next step to go to, might not be the one. Life might actually create new opportunities for you that you can then openly and freely experience. Not something you could do if your head was in the future. So yes, your mind has a goal to go to, and that's okay. But that goal isn't really even in the future. It's already with you. It's not something that's away from you. It's something that's here with you in this moment, because you have chosen to create that. And creation is something that happens in the moment. It doesn't happen in the future. Creation is an act of now. So this is how future goal and being in the moment and living each step combine. Use visualization. And by visualization, it's not a mental exercise. It's an exercise from the heart, where really you feel what you want to achieve. You taste it, you breathe it, you live it. Because by doing so, whilst in the beginning it will take time, you need to remind yourself over and over and over again. Eventually, you will stop having to remind yourself, and you just become your goal. And that happens through visualization. Exercise is amazing not just for your body, but also for your mind. Apart from the whole biochemical process that happens, it's actually a way of meditation. For me, it serves me to meditate, to actually exercise, because it connects me with my body, but also connects me with my surroundings. And then there's breath. We often underestimate that. It's actually something that we need more than sleep. We need more than water. We need breath. We cannot live without breath. And it's the power that gives us life. It's very important to connect with it. And it does something amazing. When you breathe, just simple breathing exercises of inhaling, exhaling, you create space in which to choose how to react and how to act. And you suddenly move from a reactive state to proactive state simply through breath and act. Action is the key. It's all good and well to talk about things, to imagine things, to visualize things, but it all comes down to acting. Yes, you will doubt. Yes, there are going to be moments where you fall off your bike. Doesn't matter, get back on. That's acting. Acting is being here right now and making a choice to do something in a different way. Choice is action. And then there are antidotes to willpower and to discipline, because they feed your monkey mind. So yeah, it's okay to watch a movie. I'm not saying don't watch a movie, but don't spend your day in front of a screen. It's not going to help. It's distraction. It doesn't connect you with yourself nor with your goal. Be aware of the way you eat. Especially sugar changes the biochemistry on your body and changes the immune system and weakens you. Don't abuse substances, may that be medication, drugs, alcohol, even smoking. And try to get enough sleep in, because the lack of sleep is just the biggest antidote to discipline, or biggest undervalued antidote to discipline. I mean, we're all aware of effects of alcohol and drugs, but lack of sleep, something so basic, can be devastating, because your mind can no longer concentrate, because really what you should do is sleep during the day rather than be active and act and create. So to sum it up, discipline is to act. To act is to construct. To construct is to have power. And above and beyond all, discipline is the single biggest act of love that you can do to yourself. It means really acting the way you want and be awesome. In fact, be more than awesome. Just be yourself in the best version possible. Allow me to give you one last little exercise, and that is one thing at a time. So I would like to invite you to get rid of something old. Just as, there's this theory, in order to get something new into your wardrobe, get rid of something old first. Create the space, invite something new. So get rid of something old, however small or big this may be. And maybe, just like this, something new can come into your life. We all have habits. We all do things that we don't want, that we're not proud of. We have people in our lives that we know shouldn't be there. Just let it go. Make space in your emotional wardrobe and see what comes in. And instead, do something new. Replace the old. And allow new things to happen to you and create these new things. Invite them into your life. Choose who you want to be. It's all yours. Create the life you want to live, and above all, enjoy every step along the way. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.